room blazing away. And I also used to hold a mechanical pencil in my hand as I fall asleep. I'd fall asleep like this, with all the lights on and a pencil in my hand. And the knock knock was, what was it? Because one night I heard a knock on my door and I woke up. I said, is it time to get up? And there was no answer. And I looked, I just froze for a long time there. Then I managed to look at my clock and it was like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, I don't know. And I don't know which night I woke up, I heard the knock and I went out and Tommy was just sitting there, at the kitchen table staring. So, that was the knock knock. I used to always hear this knock knock and wake up scared shitless. I haven't heard it since I've been in the States, though. Part of the reason I'm writing this is to get things in chronological order. Well, as Ronnie Reagan used to say, my first week was spent as said. The second week was spent the same way, except we'd started teaching. We were about twice as inclined to go out after work, working from 10 in the morning to 10 at night. Well, right now it's 3 a.m. I'll continue tomorrow. This is now my usual bedtime, and I've drunk the mandatory 5 or 6 beers that ensure a good 5 or 6 hours of sleep. If I fall asleep cold sober, I can't sleep, I sleep fitfully, or I have horrendous nightmares. One afternoon I took a nap and I had like 2 hours, I had like 6 nightmares in a row. Like a Tommy coming at me like this. Oh shit. And since, as you'll see, the days are nightmarish in a real sense, because I can't now, for the sake of future nights, rest back in the States, allow sleep to become an object of dread, or I might never sleep again. 5 hours of deep sleep followed by 21 hours of grogginess is the lesser of the least of all possible, even entirely probable evils. Next night. By the by, pervasive problem in Korea is shitty lighting. You can sit with the light bulb hanging directly over the page and still get the sensation of going blind. Usually, if I want to read or reread something, I go stand by the window at high noon. This is not just me. Everyone complains about it. Anyway, on Sunday, February 12th, I went hiking with Tiny and 2 other teachers, who were just as disgusting as possible. But I'd been feeling guilty about having these terrible notions about Tiny and about leaving her alone in the apartment so often and leaving her alone until 2 a.m. so often. I mean, imagine that traumatic experience she'd been through, discovering her friend's body and all. Anyway, on the mountain, Seoul surrounded by mountains, one takes the subway to reach them. Tommy complained about not having her knife. I always carry my knife, she says. Can't believe I forgot it. Bothersome knives they are. I'd noticed the first night I was there how tremendous and sharp the kitchen knives were, but nah, that was silly. Also, I thought, silly to think of the fact that Tommy must be quite physically strong since I'd watched her lift weights. Nah, ridiculous, paranoid, I told myself. During the next week, things began to get desperately strange. Actually, I could continue here for another hour, until 2 a.m. and still be on my regular schedule. It's just that I got hopelessly lost in the chronological order and the psychological disorder of events. So I'll just go to bed early and go on with the weirdness tomorrow. Till then. And that was a letter that never got finished. Actually, the very worst day for me was was the day that I was over at Pat's. It was there, Scott and Tamara and John, and Pat was living at Eileen's then, so Eileen was there too. But we were sitting around there, you know, trying to avoid the usual topic, which is usual as always Tommy and Kathy and all this shit. And At this time, at that particular night, Tommy'd been under house arrest for, I don't know, 5 days or something. I'd been going over there, and I guess, though it must have been a Wednesday, I was there over the weekend, but I'd go back during the day to visit, pick up a few things. I'd go with Tamara usually. My biggest fear had always been like to go over there, and find out that she was alone, that there was no cops in the house. I'd be going like, fuck, what if they let her go or something? Oh, no, that's not gonna happen. No fucking way, man. She's confessed to the fucking crime here. No way it's gonna happen. Just chill out, relax. But I'd go over there. Tamra'd go over and bullshit with her, trying to make it look like we weren't totally against it. There was some sort of thing that Boatwright, the CID guy, had said, well, if everybody acts like they're afraid of her, they'll just slam her, put her in the slammer. So CID didn't want her to put in the slammer. So anyhow, we were being friendly like to her. Meanwhile, the Korean police had already allowed her to go out and buy another knife. She said she needed a knife. They took her out and they bought her a knife. Great. Anyway, as I said, that was my worst fear, that I would go over there sometime and she would be alone. So that night, we're over at Eileen and Pat's and John and Scott and Tamara and everybody. Phone rings. Eileen answers it. Linda, it's for you. It's Tiny. I said, oh, okay. Hi, what's up? I just wanted you to know the police are gone now. So if you want to, come back. I said, the police are gone? She goes, yeah. I said, so you're alone? She goes, yeah, the police are all gone. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to come back, but at least the house isn't full of cops now. So if you want to come back, I said, oh, okay, I'll probably be over in a little while. Talk to you later. And she said, bye, bye. I hung up the phone. And I just... Everybody's going, what? I'm just going... I was struck dumb. I just was utterly speechless. I couldn't say a fucking word. You'd think everybody's immediate reaction would be like, what the fuck, or that's terrible, or fuck, shit, or something like that. No. That was not the way people reacted to things at all. People never reacted the way you'd think that they would react. In fact, the whole thing went opposite. Anytime you'd think something would never happen, it would happen. You'd think people would react one way, they would react the complete opposite way. It was just like being in a house of mirrors. Everything was reversed. We went out, and John and Pat are just like, fucking it never happened. Meanwhile, Pat was one of the people who was the most scared the whole fucking time. Now this woman is definitely, accomplice to murder at the very fucking least. She's nuts. And there are no police guarding her anymore, so she's roaming the streets of Seoul. And it's suddenly no fucking problem. You're like, Linda, relax. Come on, don't worry about it. It's not that serious. I'm like, fucking shit, I said, well, she might show up at the school. She's a disgruntled employee. She's been, the director had called her and told her she no longer had a job, which she couldn't understand. And I said she could show up at that school and, shit, man, fuck, she can do whatever she wants now. She's free. It was like, so what, So, everybody's reaction was very weird at this point, I think. I think I was the only person with a normal fucking reaction. So finally, about 2 in the morning, I said, I'm calling the fucking director of the school. He got to be aware that this woman might show up at the school, might show up at his doorstep. Fuck, He was like, oh, fucking Linda, you're fucking Worry wart. So anyway, I did call him. Made absolutely. The director was like, "Okay, thanks for telling me." Meanwhile, you'd think he would have had a little heightened security or something at the school. Not that there was any security anyway. So the next weird thing that started happening was time he started showing up at the school. He'd wander into the school. Fucking A, man. Unbelievable. Just wandered in one day. Fucking just as nutty as a fruitcake. Wanders in and goes, "Hi, roommate. How you doing?" I said, "Okay. Want to go to lunch?" God, I want to go to lunch with her. So